My gosh, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Not Talking Movies with Ron and Mean Gene, the vacation edition. And, a real litany of things to talk about. And one of the things is just before we started doing this, they were like, wait, are you in your RV? Are you in your motorhome? And I'm like, yeah. So, but, it's kind of crazy. I'm actually very blessed because I got back from vacation and I've got highlights to tell you about. But when I got back, I immediately had to get back in it and drive to Detroit. Now, get this. My mom is getting she's fine. She's getting some radiation treatment for her mommy boobie. She had one of those issues. So I'm taking her to the radiation. And I've got the flexibility with being able to do the podcast to drive here, stay in my dad's driveway. They're divorced. And then I towed a car, I do the podcast every day, and then the back half of the day, I take the car that I towed, drive to my mother's house, and take her to her treatment. So this is it,
Wow, what a good son you are.
Well, it's the least I could do. And you see, my brothers, they all have regular jobs. So they've used all of their vacation time. So I said, you know what? It would be really asinine if I couldn't come up with a way to do this. So I am doing my thing, so it's working out pretty well.
Well, I'm surprised you don't still have some of your sponsors in the back there on the cabinets and stuff. You should have done that. The mobile sponsors, man. Come on. What's wrong with you?
way ahead of you, Gino. In fact, that Tennessee trip, I had right here a Terrytown RV sign.
Oh, bet you did.
They took care of it. So, all right. It's been way too long since we've spoken.
Yes.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Where would you like to begin?
Your vacation. Stories. Come on. What I did on my summer vacation. Quiet.
Okay. Well, let me just get to – so I actually did already talk about this on the podcast, but I love getting the reaction from people when they hear this story.
Okay.
There's a restaurant in the Smoky Mountains that we like to go to. And there's a lady there that plays piano, and we've seen her over the years, but we've never really spoken to her. Her name is Niecy. Okay. Now, Niecy is a big girl. I'm not going to dance around this because she doesn't dance around it.
You'd have to dance around her.
Oh, yeah. Niecy doesn't dance much. It actually is a little difficult for Niecy to move. And you would probably see Niecy on a scooter at some point at Walmart. Okay. And I'm just doing this to paint a picture here. So Niecy gets up to go to whatever, get a drink, and she's working the room because she works for tips. So she's talking to everybody and super affable and friendly. She comes up to our table and we're like, "Hi, Niecy, how are you?" She's kind of like a local star. And somehow in the conversation, Niecy reveals that she's 65 years old. And to be honest with you, we had no idea. And Diana's like, "Niecy, you don't look 65." And she really doesn't. Niecy says to Diana, "Oh, it's the fat."
Fat keeps
Makes
you
her
young?
look young or old?
And so I wrinkled up my face. I look at Diana. I'm like, "Oh, good luck with this one." And Diana says, "Oh, Niecy, come on, seriously." And then Niecy goes, No, seriously. I'm 65, but she actually says, "I'm so fat. It fills in all the wrinkles." So it was just terrible. It was so bold and it was ridiculous.
But she's good with it though. She's comfortable in her largeness.
Yes.
In her girth.
Large skin.
Yes.
Well, so she really looks younger than 65 because
she looks
bulging out the wrinkles and flattening out the curves, so to speak.
I guess that's a thing. But you haven't lived till you've seen a 400-pound woman.
Four.
Yeah,
you left that out.
Yeah, you haven't lived till you've seen a 400-pound woman play Limelight by Rush. In like lounge singer style, but a black 400-pound woman do Limelight by Rush. So,
does she play the guitar? Or she just sings, right?
No, she sings and does it on the piano. It was
on the piano. Oh,
yeah, she was really good.
What a talent.
Yes, what a talent. So
All
funny.
right, I'm putting that on the bucket list. Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, go to
Woman Singing Limelight by Rush.
And one other notable news from your vacation was you celebrated a wedding anniversary, right? Or recently?
We were with Niecy when we did it too. Diana said, "I love Niecy so much. We got to go back, get that steak sandwich, and watch her." And so 28 years.
Nice.
How long have you guys been married? What anniversary?
Next week, 2 weeks from now, it'll be our 26th.
Gotcha.
Wow, 32 for me. Coming up on 33. So
you're the clubhouse leader.
And much longer. I should be due for parole pretty soon.
Come on, Gene. Come on.
What?
I know you don't mean that.
Of course not. Of course, it's been bliss, wedded bliss for 32 years. 8
days, an old married guy's joke.
Gene, you know those two kids, they can't keep their hands off each other. It's just it's ridiculous.
Well, we talked about granny sex already, remember?
Don't remind me.
Wait, have you met my wife?
No, as a matter of fact. Bring her in.
No, she's up north. She went hanging with her parents this week.
Okay.
Yeah, how mortified would she be if we said, "So, Mrs. Gene wanted us to ask you questions about your sex life"?
She would laugh. Ha ha.
It's not Saturday.
The recording would end, and then I would get my ass handed to me. But for the sake of the show, she'd play along. No, we talked about this. It's funny.
Oh, we talked about what? Getting her on the podcast and talking about your sex life?
No.
I didn't know what you meant by that.
Just Wait, we're talking about Eric's vacation. How did this get onto my?
I think I did it. I think.
Of course you did it. Who else?
Changing the subject. Speaking of up north, Gene, and I don't know where your wife is at, but my wife and I spent a couple of days in the Glen Arbor area of up north, Michigan, which I frankly love that area. Spent a lot of time in my life in that area. Found some wonderful beaches up in that area between Glen Arbor and Leelanau that are sort of like private there in the National Forest area, and really had a great time. I got to swim in Lake Michigan twice. Okay, that was on my bucket list. Living on a lake here, if I don't make a work of getting to Lake Michigan, I don't swim in it. So that was my big couple of days up north.
Are you telling me this is the first time you've ever been in Lake Michigan?
No, this summer.
Oh, okay. Well, then you can't yearly bucket list.
Yeah, you can't have it can't be like a honey-do list. Bucket list. Yeah, bucket list. That's like, go see the Great Pyramids.
Exactly.
Jump out of an airplane.
Go watch a 400-pound black woman play Limelight on the
right. Yes, right.
Bucket list stuff.
Ron's bucket list is like, I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna eat some chicken.
Up the car.
I'm gonna clip the dog's nails. Yeah, it's my bucket list.
I think we need to explain. Good point.
Yearly bucket list. Okay, I gotta get that.
Okay.
I gotta get that squared up.
That's more of a pail, not a bucket, then.
Yeah,
that's right.
Okay, now, Ron, that's where you look like what I see. I see the trees behind you right now. That's on your deck at your residence. Yeah.
Right. This is my deck, and then the lake is over my shoulder here, and so, and my down there is where my pontoon boat is down.
That is
at the end
sweet.
of those stairs down there, and
Dude.
so I'm gonna go fishing this afternoon. I don't know about you guys, but
nice. Now, Ron, when you catch them, do you ever just catch them and bring them in and eat them? Is it all sport fishing?
Well, the fish we catch and eat are like bluegills and walleye and perch, right? We throw the pike and the bass back in the lake and the rock bass. Got largemouth bass and rock bass, but
dude, that's awesome.
Carp and suckers and stuff, we throw those back.
There is nothing better than a freshly caught walleye.
Bingo.
Fried in butter with a little breading on it. Oh my God, that would be a bucket list thing for this.
$20 a plate. Yep, come on over.
I wanna break.
I want to charge for it.
I want to break down the dynamic of the fish. Who 1 second he's swimming nicely, and then 1 hour later he's in your stomach. That's pretty amazing. You know, the next time he sees water is when he's in the toilet.
He doesn't see it very well, however, at that point. And
are these things you think about? I mean, do you spend time actually thinking about stuff?
Are you kidding? That just came out of his pea-sized brain.
Absolutely.
Oh, God. He didn't think about that for a second.
You know, I love the fact that you guys know me so well.
We do. And yet we still do this every week.
I know it. You're like, hey, we got to do this stupid podcast.
Dude, I love this. This is the best part of my week, man.
Ah, thank you. That is a sweet thing to say.
So, all right, other than Misi and the anniversary, any other great happenings on the vacation?
Really long, awesome hikes. I don't know if this is up your alley, but there's something to be said, at least from our standpoint, with the idea of walking to a destination, like up the side of a mountain. We were actually on the Appalachian Trail to hike. We're at 6,500 feet in the air, looking out over mountains. I mean, it's like our favorite thing to do. We packed the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We got our camelbacks, hike 4 miles up the trail, up a mountain. It's just great. And then get to a destination, like a rock outcropping, eat, walk back. It's just terrific.
Oh,
and, just you two, or was there additional persons in the trip? Okay,
just us, which was probably the best part of it. You know, kids are the worst thing ever when it comes to vacations. They ruin everything.
Not just vacations, but let's leave that for another show. So with just the two of you walking along the trails, you weren't concerned about bear or anything like that?
No, not at all. I think because there is a plan. Usually the bear there's like a protocol, and that is, first of all, you see it.
Protocol?
Well, we would have a protocol with the bear about how to deal with it. And so I do have some knowledge about what to look for, how his behavior is, and what to do if he does start to come toward us, and how we handle that. The one thing you can't do is turn and run. You cannot do that.
Right.
That's a myth. And the other myth is, don't play dead. I don't know if you know this. If you are attacked by a bear, you fight like it's the last fight you're ever going to have.
Scream and holler, and you run. Yeah.
You're ripping out his eyes. You're getting pawed and mauled, but you're fighting, or you're dead. So, but it's very, very rare that happens. The bears in the Smoky Mountains, those are the black bears.
They're black ones.
You know, you're talking, 150 pounds. So you got a chance.
Right.
You really do. But that's a very, very rare thing to have happen in the mountains.
Yeah, otherwise, you know what the fish feels like. You're walking along, and all of a sudden, an hour later, you're in a pile of bear poop. So
there's Eric's ribs. There's Eric's rib cage. Yeah, we found him.
Black bears don't eat people, so you're right. No. There is a protocol. You don't want to get bitten or scratched either, let alone.
Right. So, but you were never worried about anything like that. You were fine.
No. I would love to see a bear. Typically, they're not interested in you. The key is for people that are on the trail to never, ever, ever leave any food. Never, ever feed a bear, because then they're gonna know to come back, and then they're a nuisance, and then they're gonna get killed. The bear is gonna die.
Don't mess with the cubs. That's the big thing too. Cubs, you're just asking for it. Then if you see them, like you say, just get away. Or Well, I'm glad to see you made it back in one piece.
So when you're on vacation, Eric, do you keep up with the news? I mean, you're podcasting about the latest news and all.
Oh yeah.
What was your favorite subject to podcast on while you were on vacation in the news?
I actually would have to take a second to look back. I know there was a lot of stories that I covered and things that I did speak about, but a lot of it was the dynamic between us and our little adventures going on. But,
good for you.
It seemed like I didn't have to try very hard to see anything pandemic related and things like that. And so I have re-engaged into the whole news cycle, and that's very, very important to me because I always have an opinion about it. And I think that yesterday was interesting because we had two things that made the world topsy-turvy, and I'd like to tell you them. And the first thing is, to the anti-maskers, what do you do and how do you react when Trump says put on a mask?
Yes.
That's a question I have. I because a lot of the anti-maskers were like, I'm gonna, you know, they're following the lead. So what do you do? How do you react if the big guy says, hey, you should put on a mask?
All right. Well, let me begin, because I don't want to label myself as an anti-masker, because I'm wearing one now because you have to go into stores. But I'm not doing it because Trump said so. The reason I don't wear a mask are much broader than that. It's because, again, we live up here in the middle of nowhere, and I am not thoroughly convinced of everything that I hear and see. So it has nothing to do with Trump, whether he said wear it or don't wear it. I'm hesitant to put one on, only because I have to. Now, that's the reason.
All right. Fair enough.
I'm holding my tongue, Gene. I'm not going to let you have it here.
Come on, Ron. I'm a big boy.
Scare. Because I have a pat answer for those people. I'm not going to accuse you. I know you
those
better.
People?
Those anti-masker people.
Yeah, people like Gene.
Who are thinking only of themselves and not others. But I know you're not like that. So I'm not going to label you like the rest of them. Okay. But, I saw an analysis, which I like to share. Maybe you've both seen it on Facebook about it's an illustration of two naked men standing next to each other. Right. And so the one guy starts peeing on the other guy's leg. And of course, that's neither of you are wearing a mask part of the illustration. Okay. So then the other guy puts on a pair of pants and the other guy pees on him. Well, some of the pee's still going to get on his leg, but some of it's going to be stopped by the mask. So then the guy who needs to take a pee puts his pants on and starts peeing. Well, then all the pee stays on him and none of it really gets on the other guy. So the idea that you're thinking of somebody else when you put on your mask so you don't pee on them is kind of how I like to proceed on this.
Yes. Okay. Gene, what are you, pee or no pee?
My pee cannot reach 6 feet, but that's okay.
Okay.
If I could pee 6 feet, then that would make sense.
Yeah, that's.
But I try to keep my distance. And like I said, I put pants on now because I have to. Okay.
Yes. Good for you.
I'm good. But the second I get out of the store, my pants come off.
All right. I don't blame you. I guess my thing was, it wasn't so much about whether it's right or wrong, but I just found it really interesting that he said it. And if he says it, does that make the world topsy-turvy for the anti-maskers? Do they, because, okay, let's say you have an anti-masker who wears a MAGA hat, okay? And he goes to all the rallies and he's going to vote for Donald Trump. And he says, I'm not wearing a mask because because it's stupid or whatever. And then Trump says, hey, wear a mask. What does MAGA guy do? Does he turn his back on his guy? I mean, because that's what's happening.
Well, you got to ask him, man. That's an individual thing. I couldn't answer that question.
Right, but if Eric, I don't know if you found this to be true on all your travels, but certainly now in Michigan, everywhere I go, at the Meijer store or the hardware store or whatever, everybody's wearing their masks now,
well, they have to.
And that has to include some anti-maskers in that bunch. So I think they've decided, like, I got to wear a mask, so I'm going to wear a mask for 10, 15 minutes or an hour. I can do that.
I was, regardless of everybody kicking and screaming about it, or for the people that are, it actually made me quite proud to walk through that Meijer and see everybody on the same page, because I did notice that. And you don't go into businesses anymore and see anybody without a mask. So and frankly, there's been a lot of people that say, yeah, but it doesn't help, and here's why, and they'll send me a link, and I'm like, you know what? I get it, and I know what I know what it says, but I also don't believe that everything that I am reading. I don't believe that everybody has a correct answer on everything. I just don't.
You got to sift through it, don't you?
Yeah.
But how do you even sift through it? You can't. It's not. No. It's much of it.
I know,
just wear a mask.
You got a bullshit detector in your head. I just know you do, Gene.
Yeah,
there's a whole lot of that
when
going
there's
on.
so much of it out there, it just gets overloaded. It's
That's true.
Overload. How do you? I don't even pay any attention to any of it, to be honest with you. And I apologize, but I've had to just back away from all of it.
No, and I think
Way too
even though you may say you don't pay attention, you still have a point of view, and you still
absolutely.
are in tune enough to actually engage in this whole conversation. So that's good, and I'm kind of with you. I pretty much filter most of that stuff out. I just have accepted that this is going to be the reality for quite some time, and I just hope that I don't get sick.
So what was the other one, Eric? That was number one.
That was the one topsy-turvy moment. The other topsy-turvy moment was a lady by the name of Bevelyn Beatty. Bevelyn Beatty is a lady. She is an African-American lady. She looks, she's not quite Niecy size, probably like a third of Niecy. She's actually a really beautiful young lady. And but what she did was she woke up one day and she said, you know what? I've had it with this. And the world got topsy-turvy when she located a bucket of paint. And then she wandered out to whatever town she was in. I forget where it was, maybe D.C., and walked up to the big, gigantic Black Lives Matter words on the street and the black woman dumped the paint on it and said, go to hell, Black Lives Matter. I want my, well, holy cow, what's going on there, guys?
I saw the video and the police trying to pick her up and restrain her, and the one guy slipped on, the one policeman slipped on the,
he hit his head.
Hit his head, and I thought, wait a minute, there's a black woman protesting against Black Lives Matter. I don't know her backstory or where she comes from or why she doesn't believe in the movement of her people, if that's what it is. What did you hear?
Gene, you're rolling your eyes. What's going on in your noggin?
Don't even get me started on this.
Well, you got to.
First of all, it's all lives matter. Second of all, I don't think, while it is about blacks, I think it's a media created firestorm. I think a lot of people are protesting just because they're caught up in it. They could care less one way or the other. And when was it okay to start saying blacks again?
I don't know. I just always have. I just don't worry about it.
It's not African American lives matters. Now it's okay to say blacks again.
Well, for me it is.
Well, exactly.
It makes the slogan flow a little better. So
I get that. So what are you saying? It's just words? They're only
well,
words?
I don't know. I guess my point of that is, and I understand the whole thing about how you don't want to get started, but I guess my point was, all I know about her is she appears to be ultra religious, and she seems a little bit like a crackpot to me. And I'm just trying to get an idea of without having to sit through an interview with her about what's making her tick and how the rest of the Black Lives Matter people, how they feel about Black Lady defacing that,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can tell you what they think. That's not cool, lady.
No more so than them defacing other property for, to further their Black Lives Matter cause. I mean, it's not like they haven't done it. Who was it that went down in front of Trump's tower and was pouring paint all over the Trump stuff with Black Lives Matter? They were in the exact same situation. It was just, it was opposite. So the point being, it's America. She's got her right to voice her opinion.
Right. But not to deface public property.
Well,
that was where that gets to be the crossing the line.
Then you got to do it for everybody. You got to do it for everybody then.
Mm-hmm.
Both sides.
All right. Well, here we go, guys.
Okay. I can lighten this up.
Please do.
Okay, changing subjects here. Just because yesterday was a celebration of Robin Williams. He would have been 69 years old, and of course, one of the true talents of the entertainment business. So, love that guy. And so they were RottenTomatoes.com did a whole, he had 57 movie credits there from the worst to the best. And so I found it interesting to, based on the Rotten Tomatoes score, can you think of the best rated Robin Williams movie? He got the highest score of any of the wide release movies that he made. What would be your guess as the highest
on Rotten Tomatoes?
On Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes, the highest?
The highest score came from a movie released in 1997.
Popeye. Oh, no.
That would have been
I loved him in that movie.
I don't think so. Jacob's Ladder.
I've got a guess. I've got a real guess.
Go ahead.
Good Will Hunting.
Ding, 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 ding.
Really?
97% fresh.
I'll tell you something about that movie. The scene, one of the best scenes you'll see in a film.
Sitting on that bench.
It was the scene where Matt Damon's character is being insulting to the memory of Robin Williams' character's wife.
Right.
And you can see him very calmly remove his glasses because he's going to lower the boom.
Oh, yeah.
And, man, when he put that death grip on him and said, I will end you if you say anything bad about my wife. Holy cow, was that incredible. That's giving me goosebumps just thinking about that.
That look on his face was intense.
Man, was that who knew that's the thing. This is a great example of how you can take someone who was a stand-up before he was an actor. Okay, right. You can take the stand-up and make them an actor. You don't take the actor and make them a stand-up.
No, that's been tried.
So you take the stand-up and you find the right stand-up, and Williams is a much better actor than he is a stand-up, or was. Okay, his talent was unbelievable what he did, and the emotion and the energy that he would convey in those scenes. Oh, just an incredible talent gone too soon.
True artist, tortured artist, as it turns out as well. Okay, so his worst rated movie. No, actually, that was right in the middle, along with Patch Adams and movies like that. But this one co-starred John Travolta and his lovely gone too soon wife Kelly Preston.
Yeah, it was crazy. Wow, it just happened.
It came out in 2009. Robin Williams, John Travolta, Kelly Preston, in a movie that came out in 2009. I'd forgotten all about this, but
is this the one when they're in the RV?
No. that was also down near the bottom there. It was called RV, right?
Right.
No, this one you'll never get. It was called Old Dogs.
Okay.
It got a whopping 8% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. So.
Oh man! Wow. Yeah, he's of course. Was he? He was Dead Poets Society, right? It had to be to the top, right?
That was near the top. Actually, the second highest ranked movie was Aladdin, when he did the voice of the animated genie in the movie, the animated movie, Disney movie Aladdin. That was 95%. But
it's really interesting.
Dead Poets was at the top. It was in the top 5.
Wow, 69 years old. You're right, guys. Gone too soon. Holy cow.
Other entertainment news, just quickly. It keeps moving back. They moved Tenet, Christopher Nolan's new movie, now back to an undisclosed date. Movie theater chains like AMC, the big chains, AMC announced they will likely only open mid or late August, depending on what Disney does with Mulan. That's still set for August 21, and that has a good chance of opening up internationally, because China is starting to open their theaters. We'll see if they keep them open this time, but they're starting to look at releasing some of these big movies in foreign markets now ahead of the U.S., because theaters are open in some markets. Some countries have got their act together, in case you didn't notice.
No.
On the coronavirus, but so we're still going slow. We're still going slow in the U.S.
Well, let me quick, because again, I mentioned that I'm kind of on a news blackout here, but you don't hear much about Europe and Asia. Are they coming out of this? Is it pretty much done with them, or?
Yeah, certainly some countries. I don't know. The UK is not opening their theaters yet, but China is.
I'm just talking in general. With the pandemic, is it on the wane?
Well, it depends on what you believe. I've gotten to a point now where I look at everything with a raised eyebrow, like maybe not. Even as close as our own country, sometimes I ask those questions, because, when I see enormous death toll in New York for that many of people that are sick, but not nearly the same amount of death toll or the amount of death and destruction for a state like California or Florida or something like that. That all makes me go, what's happening here? I don't have any concrete answers. So I'm skeptical of everything. And at the end of the day, all I can really worry about, honestly, guys, is keeping a mask on and not getting sick. And if I can do that, and we replicate that 360 million times for all the people in this country, that's got to be a good thing.
All right, I'm making a prediction here because they say it's going to be another year before we're back to normal here.
For a vaccine, yeah.
Here is vaccine or no vaccine, once the election is done, and regardless of who wins, this is going to drop. It'll be gone. Not the pandemic got the illness, but coverage, people talking about it, it'll be gone. They will be moving on to other things.
I don't believe that. Okay, I don't believe that at all.
That's my prediction.
We'll the only way that comes the only way that comes true is to stop breaking records for the number of cases.
Again,
and deaths.
That's if you believe the numbers.
Well, even if they're not 100% accurate,
they're not even 50% accurate.
Listen to that.
Oh my!
Oh,
they're not
bought it hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, look who's talking! Look who's talking! You got hooks all over yourself. Man.
Yeah, probably true. I think we both do. You know what, guys?
They were laughing.
Somewhere in the middle lies the truth. So exactly. I think we're all a little bit right and all a little bit wrong.
Oh, I agree totally. I agree.
But Gene's probably the most wrong.
You know what? I hope I am. I truly hope I am, but unfortunately, I don't think I am. But
all right, hey, I gotta go help my mom, so I'm gonna cut you loose.
Tell Mom and Dad we said hi.
Yep. Okay. God bless you all, Mom, Dads, everywhere.
Look at there's your wife. Oh my God, it's Chris. Chris.
Oh my God.
Oh, I love her so. Oh my gosh, hard eyes.